Hey guys, I'm Connor. I'm the Baromagnes player in this video, and I'm going to show you guys how to play Baromagnes against Orfist. So starting out the game, I won the dice roll, which is nice. I had a good hand. So since I won the dice roll, that means even if I don't get the 15 in soul on my grade 3 turn, I'll most likely have it the next turn, which is the turn that his tokens will be out, which is why I think Baromagnes is really good against this deck, because if I go first, my second grade 3 turn just gets rid of his tokens, which is really nice. That means I wasted 2 of his counterblasts just using 1 of mine, and I get the additional attacks and the extra card off of that, which is really good. Okay, so when he calls down that grade 1, I know he's going to rush, which is nice for me because I take the first damage. Because if it's a trigger, then I only take 1 damage, which is nice. And realistically, I only really want 1 counterblast so I can get Electro Spartan to go off. So I wanted to eat 1 damage, and I hit the trigger, which was really nice because that means I didn't have to take 2. I discarded the gun there because everything else in my hand was really valuable. I wanted to keep it for future plays. Selfish Engraver, one of my favorite cards because it almost always eats a card out of their hand, and if it doesn't, you just get a soul charge for free, which is always nice. And if you already have 10 in soul, you can just throw her into the soul to get a free counter charge. So right here I'm swinging at his rear guard, trying to get a card, and if he doesn't guard it, I just get a free soul charge, which is nice. He doesn't guard it, so I get the soul charge. Sadly, it's a heal, but what can you expect? Right here, you can see me looking at my hand. What I'm thinking is I don't really have a lot of guard power, but it's fine because I need to take a little bit of damage anyways for the future. So I know I'm going to get a little bit of damage. All I can do this turn is hope for defensives. Counting my soul, I have 6 in soul, which means I'm going to have at least 9 after the ride, so I need to soul charge 1 more for 10. So I'm just thinking about the future, knowing I'm going to take some damage this turn because I only have the Sonicer in my hand that I don't want to get rid of. So like I said, he's attacking, I just have to take it, there's not much I can do. Thankfully, I get the best case scenario. I hit the defensive trigger to counter his offensive trigger. He's attacking my Vanguard, I only need 5k shield. So I can just intercept with Electro Spartan, knowing that I'm going to play a Curtis next turn, so that just frees up the slot for him. Here I have to make a tough decision. I discard the Selfish Engraver, but it's fine because I get to play the Curtis anyways, get to 10 in soul. I have a perfect soul charge there. I soul charge the Sonicer after throwing one from my hand into soul, which is nice. Now all 3 that I run are in the soul. I'm at 9, so I need 1 more. That gives me 2. That's enough. So here I'm just planning on how I'm going to do the attack. I'm probably going to swing with the Selfish Engraver because it's the smallest number. I'm going to swing his rear guard so he can't intercept in case I don't have any triggers on the drive check. Because when I play, I usually go rear guard, Vanguard, rear guard. So if my Selfish Engraver kills his rear guard here, if it hits, I get a soul charge and he can't intercept. So thankfully that's the case. Soul charge, hit a front, but it's fine. Soul charge her, get a free counter charge. Swing with Baro first now because if I hit any triggers, I throw it on my rear guard, which would be nice. Sadly, I don't, but he doesn't hit the trigger either, so it's fine. I can just swing with Curtis, so he has to make the tough decision himself here of whether he's going to guard it, waste a card, or just take the damage. Right here, from looking at my hand, you can tell I have 2 triggers, so I'm probably going to be able to guard at least 2 attacks. I have a PG, which is nice, but I'm also at 2 damage, so I can afford to eat some damage here, which is good. I just have to be careful if he hits the over trigger, because then I'd have to waste a PG on a rear guard. And probably die to the other one, which is really sad. But I know that he's going to counterblast 2 to get out the 3 tokens. So I'm just planning on how I'm going to guard this turn, knowing that I can eat 3 damage if completely necessary. So he decides he's not going to play the Grey 2, which is fine. That just means the turn's easier to guard for me. I'm going to no guard this because worst case he double crits. I live, and that just gives me 3 defensive checks. But he doesn't hit any triggers, so I just take 1 damage. Here, I'm going to count how many's in soul to see what I need to do next turn. I have a decent amount in soul. It's going to be doable next turn. So I'm just going to guard with the Selfish Engraver because my plan here was to take this damage, hit the Curtis, and have the extra counterblast. But now I can't do the Curtis effect since that damage canceled out, which is really sad. It means I should have kept the Selfish Engraver, but it's fine. That just means this turn's going to be a little bit weaker because I can't use Curtis effect. It wouldn't have done too much for me anyways. I would have been fine without it, or I will be fine without it. But it would have always been nice. Extra 5k power, get more cards out of his hand. Higher numbers, always better. But that's fine. I have enough in soul here, so I'm just going to swing for 23 because I Persona Road this turn. I'm just preparing the dice here for whenever I call back out the 2 Sonicers from my soul, because ideally right now those are my targets because I already have enough in hand to guard a bunch of attacks. Plus I can eat 2 damage if necessary. So I'm just going to pull out the Sonicer, try to eat more cards out of his hand because I don't need grade 2s to intercept. I don't need huge numbers, and Sonicer is just like one of the best numbers I can get. So right here, I just clear his tokens off the field, get out the Sonicers, and Baromagnes is also like really good because now I have 33 swinging at him with an extra crit, and he pretty much has to guard it or else he's probably going to die. And I don't hit any triggers, but it's fine because these are still 38s on their own, which is a really tough number to guard. You have to dump a bunch of extra cards into it, especially if you're not hitting triggers. And he guards that one, and now he has to make the tough decision of whether he wants to go to 5 damage or guard this out of his hand. He chooses to go to 5 damage, which is nice for me. That means if I live this turn, which I think I will with the amount of cards in hand and what they are, that next turn all of my attacks will be lethal, and it's pretty hard to guard 5 decent sized attacks, especially if I draw the Persona ride. That just makes them even bigger. But honestly, I don't even need it, because if I don't get it, it'd be 18, 18, 23, 28, 28, and the 28s could potentially be bigger depending on what I drive check. So all I have to do realistically is live this turn, which should be really easy because I have a lot of triggers in hand. I have a PG, and I can eat 2 damage. So honestly, at this point, I'm pretty sure I have the game in the bag. I just have to make sure I don't get clapped by the over trigger or him just double critting me. So right here, I say no guard, I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to take it. Hope he doesn't hit the over trigger or double crit. So yeah, he Persona Road that turn, so I'm just making sure that I can see that. Honestly, I could probably take this like I do. He hits 1 crit, that scares me. Doesn't hit the other crit, not able to steal the game from me. I don't hit any defensives either, which is kind of sad, but the numbers are pretty easy to guard. This one is just 35, so I dumped 2 triggers on this, and all I have to do is guard this one last attack, and then we win the game most likely. So this one's 40. This one's a little bit harder of a number to guard. So I just PG this one because I don't want to dump 2 more triggers. And the Brother's Soul I'm not going to use. So might as well save the 2 triggers, get that card out of my hand. And right here I draw the Crawl You Insects, which is really good because that just means now I can dump like 30k onto my Vanguard and make that half to perfect guard, which means he'd have to guard 4 attacks from my rear guards without perfect guarding. And now I just play more rear guards, make the numbers a little bit bigger so that, like I said, he can't guard it as easy. Soul Charge a crit, but that's fine because we're throwing 30,000. Right now, you can't see it, but he's scared. He knows he's going to lose. I draw another Gun. No, I'm not going to play it because even if it does boost, it doesn't do anything. We attack here with Selfish Engraver. I know it's a bigger number, but he's going to guard it, so it's fine. Either way, he's going to guard it. He tries to guard it a little bit under, but it's fine. We just say it. He guards with one more. We swing with rear guard now, adding even more pressure. He's running out of cards in his hand. We know we're going to win the game here. It's just a matter of time. I'm moving these up to 20 for whenever they do the restand. Just preparing. I like to be prepared. So now we swing. I draw the card. Drew another crit after soul charging one. Really sad. Like I said, I played Crawl, so he's going to have to perfect guard this. So any triggers I hit now will buff up the rear guards. PG and front trigger, which is really nice. That just makes these attacks really hard to guard. They're just 38 now. Bad number. He has to take this first one, I'm pretty sure. If not, he dumps the rest of the cards in his hand, then has to eat the last one unless he has a perfect guard. So at this point, the game's just won. He hits non-heal, so the game's just over. That's a good game, showing how Baromagnes is played against Orfist. Hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time.